So, I was out at the lake the other day with the family for a swim, and I decided to do a little snorkeling with my little diver's detector here. I mean, let's be honest, it's the whole reason I went to begin with. Anyway, I almost decided to film it, but then I thought, whatever, I'm probably not gonna find anything anyway. And then as I was scuttling along under the water like a crab, boom, a 1904 barber quarter. Are you kidding me? I mean, I was super stoked to find this, but at the same time, I was super bummed I didn't film it. And then I realized, I have a handful of really cool stuff I've just been dying to talk about, but it just never made it on camera for one reason or another. And so I thought, what better time than now? So the first year I started filming my metal detecting ventures, I collected up footage of a hunt at the Cobalt Mines. Unfortunately, I lost most of that footage from the hunt due to a hard drive crash. During that hunt, I actually found two bucket lister items, a sitting Liberty and my first Indian head penny. I also found this little number. And for the life of me, I could not figure out what the heck it was. It's like a little half metal, half wood, swivelly thing with an eye carved into it. On the opposite side, it has some wording carved into it, which I could barely read. Aloha, Oregon, I don't know. Well, anyway, nothing came of my search of any of this, and then when my buddy came over that night and saw it sitting on my table, he asked me, "Oh man, where'd you get this little one-hitter? It looks beat." I'm like, what are you talking about? As it turns out, this is a one-hitter for marijuana. You pack said herbalness here, you inhale here, and this side port is your carb. Not that I know anything about any of that. So immediately identified and cool, really unique. And speaking of smoking apparatuses, I found this little number down by a picnic spot alongside the Connecticut River. I believe it's for a fancy wooden bong type of deal. You got this little O-ring here and it unscrews for convenient cleaning. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty neat. Anyway, moving on to more suspicious looking finds, I found this guy right in my backwoods. And yes, it does have the name of the previous owner printed on it. But when I opened it up, instead of finding a handful of pills, I found a handful of rivets or eyelets or whatever they are, something like that. This cracked me up a bit. Now, here's a real cool find I've been dying to learn more about. Some of you may remember my job site treasures video where I walked around one of our job sites and I found a handful of really cool things that had been unearthed. Near the end of said job, after all the ground was regraded, I took one more walk around and I found this. Now, I've been dying to bring this into someone for a long time to learn more about it. I don't know what kind of metal this is, I haven't tested it yet or anything, but I do know that it has some inscriptions on the inside of the band of some characters that are Far Eastern in nature. I plan on grabbing a few high-definition photos of the writing and sending the photos out to someone who can translate the characters. That may help me pinpoint, the origin of this bracelet, but it's just really, really cool. Really cool. Alright, now I have a fun story about this one, and I think it has some pretty cool history to it. So, before our neighbor moved away, she allowed me to metal detect her property while she was out of state for a couple of days, checking out her new living situation. The only free time I had that week to actually hunt was a little late at night and very dark at that point. Nonetheless, I'm out there in the dark poking around when a car pulls up. Now, I know it's probably just her family feeding the cat for her, and I was allowed to be there, but I thought instead of explaining that to them, I thought it'd just be easier to duck behind a copse of trees and wait for them to leave. So I did just that, and then as I put my detector down, it gives me a real nice solid signal. So here I am now, hiding behind a tree, digging up a find. Now in the dark, I thought it might be a large scent, I was pretty excited. But when I got inside and cleaned it up, I found this logo on it and said Hubbard W. Now, there's a park in Meriden, Connecticut called Hubbard Park, which is a 1,200-acre piece of land which was generously donated by Mr. Walter Hubbard himself, Hubbard W., back in 1889, who also spent about $500,000 to convert it into a park, with the stipulation that it always be free to the public and never for profit. He was a lover of humanity and nature. And he was also the president of a very successful manufacturing company which made all sorts of high-end artistic brass items such as clocks, candlesticks, and much, much more. Now, while I don't believe they ever used this as one of their logos, I like to believe that this may have been a separate line of items made by Mr. Walter Hubbard, and was possibly the backside of a watch or something at one point. Another thing Connecticut was known for manufacturing, specifically in my own town, was bells. That's why this town is known as Belltown, and to this day we are actually home to the only remaining bell manufacturing company in the US. And while I found a handful of crotal bells and cowbells and such, I've only ever found one of these. And after some deliberation with some other detectorists on the friendly metal detecting forum, it is widely agreed that this is a little thumb thing you use to ring a bicycle bell. And it actually has the name of our town engraved on the thumb portion. Anyway, that's about it for my unique finds for now. I'm sure I have a lot more I could dig out of the old, the old treasure box there. But yeah, for now, that's it, and I was happy to finally talk about these things, and I thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys next time.